Hi, how are you doing? Today I want to show you something really cool. It's kind of like a mini ChatGPT in your own home computer, and it's called LM Studio. Thank you guys for being continuously part of the community, and if you are not, please follow my YouTube channel, join the Discord, or join the Patreon, or you can join both. I didn't realize how many returning viewers do I have. This is a really new thing for me, returning viewers, and yeah, I don't know what to tell you. So let's move on with the video and let's talk about this thing because I think this is really cool. So the way this thing is working is that you download their official thing from their official website. It's the LM Studio website. I'm going to put the link down in the description if you need it. And then you just install it. With Olama, because Olama is very similar to this, it's a little bit different for me. So I really prefer this when you just type in what you want and it shows you like a bunch of different options, because LM Studio shows you the community models as well. And even here, like this is a Quen, like this is a Quen created community model, whatever. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can download with just a button click, and there's a visual confirmation, and there's a confirmation of the actual person, not person, but like the group who makes this, sometimes it's a person, and I really like to use the Onslaught models. I really like to use the Quen models and all kinds of other people who are providing these things. It just doesn't need internet after you downloaded the model. Because yeah, obviously to download the model, you kind of need internet, but otherwise after that, you don't. Everything is saved in your chat and everything is available even if you empty the model out of your VRAM. So obviously I had to try a bunch of models, and honestly, so far, the very best is coming from this one. Yeah, it's uncensored, but it's just kind of a fun way to use these things because they are willing to even engage into a conversation that's absolutely insane, instead of telling you like, I can't do that conversation, or I can't say that, or I can't make an assumption on that, or whatever. Like sometimes it's even just something really, really basic, and the model, the normal model would be refusing to talk about it because nobody wants to, talk about a certain subject. And you're like, but that's kind of important to me, so why don't you want to talk about it? What the hell is happening? So for that, it's kind of cool to download an uncensored model sometimes, or download like an unhinged version of something. There are certain models that will say like aggressive, but I think that just means that you can actually make the model talk in a way where it is actually aggressive. Like you can make the model use swear words and stuff like that. The other cool thing about this model, like as I said, like the Nemotron was the NVIDIA model, and this one is the Quen model. And because it's a Quen model, and even if it's 4B, when you load up a model, let me just unload it, for example. By the way, when you unload it, this was it. Like it just kind of just ejected it out of the VRAM. You can even see it in my memory. Like it was just bang, it was out. This is my ComfyUI just running in the background right now. So yeah, if ComfyUI doesn't take too much VRAM, you can load up on top of it like an extra few gigabytes for just a chat model in here, and it's just gonna work, and it's actually super fast. So when you load it up, it gives you like these options, and what I would recommend to pull this up to at least 10,000 or 16,000 is even better. And as you can see, it doesn't really use too much VRAM. Like it went from 3.5 to 4.8, and when you load it up, it just comfortably goes into your VRAM. If you have, let's say, 8 gigs of VRAM or even 6 gigs of VRAM, you can load this thing up exactly the way I loaded it up. Maybe for you, it wouldn't be that fast, like for example, to me, but it will be relatively really fast and very accurate. And because you give it like a lot of thinking space, I guess, it will understand and it will perform a little bit better with longer chats as well. I think eventually it's just gonna get like super confused or just think too long. So eventually you would have to jump onto different conversations, like new chats. But you can save your old chats. Everything is saved. Even if you unload the model, you can still click into any of the chats and the conversations are in there. And let's say, for example, if you make a website, or you make like an instruction, or you create prompts like pixel art studio friends. Like I made like a pixel art for like two friends in a arcade studio. Like all of those prompts are available for me right now, and I can just copy it. So whatever you type to the model, it's going to give you accurate results or relatively accurate results. So let's see if I ask something basic. Okay, I absolutely messed up the grammar there, but it does understand what I meant to say. And it gives you a really, really well formed summary and description and everything. And you see this? When it says vision, it means that you can give it pictures. So you can actually create any kind of description, or it can answer like questions about someone's age or whatever. Like you ask it like, hey, how old do I look on this picture? And it's going to say old. Or I don't know, ask other stuff. Chat with files means that you can attach files. For example, I made this movie list website, and I asked it to create me a single HTML file. This is exactly what I said. Like, here's a list of movies, their years of release, and an IMDb link. Make a website for me that looks nice. The titles and years show up. Under them, there is a button that leads to the IMDb link belonging to the movie. Make the website reactive and neat looking. Use a single HTML file. For this thing, it actually created a pretty cool movie database website that looks like this. And it even gave it a list. It even gave it a name called CineList. Like, I mean, this is pretty cool. And it functions. Like, it actually loads up the connecting IMDb link for the movie. So, honestly, this is great. Like, you can make really cool stuff with these models. And this is not even at the end of the whole thing. As I have said, you can actually create prompts. So I made this terrible drawing in Paint, and I asked it to make me a prompt that will accurately show me the sketch, but it has like colors and it has like an environment, background, whatever. And it made it. So I can use this model while I'm using my ComfUI. I can literally just click on ComfUI, generate a new image, and it will generate a new image while I don't have to put this out of my VRAM. So that's just me, because I have a 5090, so I have 32 gigs of VRAM. However, you don't necessarily have to use large models. Like, let's say, for example, you have 16 gigs of VRAM. I think with 16 gigs, you can actually load up Flux2 Client 4B, and then you can load up a smaller version of this model, or maybe even the same model, like the 4 gigs version. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit slower, but you probably can keep them in the VRAM both. But even if you don't have enough VRAM, you can generate everything first, and then just remove it from the VRAM. You still have your chat, everything is saved. So you have this available, and if you want to move on to the next question, or if something doesn't work here, you can reload the model and then put something new into the chat, like, hey, I want this in red, and then it's just gonna make you the whole thing in red. Okay, so I made this little game where I saw this in a story game, basically, and I really liked the puzzle. And I wanted to try out the puzzle, but I was like, I don't want to download the story game. I rather just make the puzzle with just by myself, or maybe like AI or something. And I was trying to make it with ChatGPT. And I mean, this is as far as ChatGPT goes, design-wise, and it even didn't function properly. So I had to go into the game logic and fix it myself, because the game logic wasn't working properly. These buttons, like the spots, like when you click one of these yellow ones, all of these have to go around the yellow ones, and it wasn't going around perfectly. It was like just bouncing around, so it didn't use the correct numbers of the dots. So I had to fix that as a logic, because it was just, I don't know, just messing it up. I don't know why it was messing it up. It just didn't understand its own logic. So after I fixed that, I was like, okay, I'm done with ChatGPT. I'm just gonna try this offline LM Studio, and I'm gonna ask it to make me a design that looks better, looks nicer, and don't touch the logic element. And by asking that from the model, it actually created me a different CSS and a different HTML file, but it didn't touch the JavaScript file. And this is the game. So I told it to use a small image that I screenshotted of what the actual finished result would look like. And this is the form that you have to use. Like you have to put all of the dots in this form, and that's when the game is finished. Although there's one thing that I forgot to mention to it. So when you finish the game, it should tell you that you finished the game, but it doesn't because I forgot to mention that. But you can adjust it. You can ask it to put it in the code to, I don't know, show something when you finish the game, which means that it would have to change a little bit in JavaScript, but just a tiny little bit. And the only thing that would change is that it will kind of tell you like, yeah, the game is finished. Yay, this is your score or something. You can create a score system and other stuff. So the game perfectly functions, looks way better. The whole outlook is just nicer, more reactive. There's just no boringness, right? It gave it like a name, hex rotation puzzle. I don't know if this is the name of the game, but now it is. So there are things that this LM Studio on your own computer is going to outperform other things on the internet in clouds. And it's just because when you are dealing with a cloud system, that cloud system is trying to do everything, but you don't need to do everything. Because when you want to do something specific, you can just download a model for that something specific thing. And you can just use that specific model, and then you click a button, unload the model, and then you start using a different model with different files for a different function. And that's why these things are really, really cool, because you can kind of use separate parts for separate things and then combine something together at the end. Yeah, I guess ChatGPT has like that. Probably the paid version has a bunch of other functions, because I tried the paid version before, I think for like a month, because I was just curious what the hell is in there. But I was just really annoyed, because even if you pay, it limits you to like 100 messages a day. And then it gives you back the old version. And the only thing that you have like as an extra is like, I don't know, saving a bit more stuff, or maybe using a bit more files per questions or per answers or messages. But that's about it. Anything else is just kind of annoying and doesn't work. And I just don't like it. So I don't have the model loaded up anymore. So obviously if I would want something to happen, it would just have like, sorry, there's no model. So there's no response. But the chat is saved. Everything is saved. Your chat is going to be there until you delete it. You can create folders for your projects, and you can create a lot of other different things. Like, for example, I made like a little Python-based game as well. And this is the little game that it made me. I just asked it to make me a little small game that works on a computer. And for some reason, it was like, yeah, let's just make it in Python. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it does work in a computer, obviously, if you want to make it in Python. But someone need to kind of understand how to start it in Python. Not many people know how to do that. But it did it, and it does work. And when you hit the thing, it just quits. So it's super easy, super small, tiny script, but it does work. And then you can just extend it, and you can add more stuff to it, like make the game faster after like a certain score. Don't quit the game, but create a button so you can restart and such stuff like that. You can even make like a scoreboard that will eventually save stuff. So you can create like a TXT file where the score is going to be saved, and eventually you can just see the scores and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things that you can create with these. And this is just on your computer. So everything is just on your computer. All of these games, these are functioning on your computer. You can upload them onto the internet. You can create a website where you do these. And this is just a small feature looking into the future when you're like, hey, I can just run this thing on my computer. So that's my own thought on these things. And that's why I like to use anything that's offline, because there's just really no limitation on it, and you can learn a lot, and you can use things that you have never thought that you use, or you can create things that you have never thought that you can create, or you can actually create something that would be super boring looking with the cloud system, and then on your own computer it just is just better. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you like this video. See you next time. Bye.